Dosage or something, and so they push their buttons next month. But if they ready.
I'd like to welcome everyone to April 8th, 2021 Lenoir City Board of Education meeting. Roll call.
Rick Chadwick.
Here.
Matthew Coleman.
Here.
Lynn McNish.
Here.
Mitch Ledbetter. Bobby Johnson is absent.
Everyone please stand for a moment of silence and pledge allegiance. Thank you very much. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dr. Barker.
Okay, I want to welcome everyone here today, and we are very excited to join with our local Rotary Club. And we have with us today Ms. Monty Ross and Mr. Mark Hackney. And if you would come up with me, they have wanted to reach out to us as a school district and celebrate some of the wonderful people that we have in the district that have worked so hard this year. So today, we are specifically wanting to honor our school nurses. So if you don't mind, let's all give them a round of appreciation. And let me just say my heartfelt thank you. These ladies have worked 24/7 sometimes, weekends, and principals, you know the value that they have given to our work this year with COVID. And so Rotary said, we want to do something to thank our nurses. So we want to take this opportunity to recognize you. So as I call your name, if you would come up, we'll start with Miss Chloe Ezel. Chloe is our nurse at the elementary school. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Miss Ann Henry. Ann is our nurse at the high school, and oh my goodness, I think that telephone was probably glued to her ear right now. But Ann, we want to recognize you and just say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you for your support.
And last but not least, Miss Melanie Crick. Thank you, Melanie has done so much this year to coordinate and work with our nurses, and in addition, you know that our nurses have worked very closely with our interpreters, and so we are very excited to have an opportunity at a later date to recognize them as well. So thank you, Mark, thank you, Monty, for your work and Rotary supporting our school district.
All right, item number 6, approval of agenda. Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Rick Chadwick.
Aye.
Matthew Coleman.
Aye.
Glenn McNish.
Aye.
Item number 7, approval of minutes from the March 25th, 2021 regular board meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? Roll call.
Rick Chadwick.
Aye.
Matthew Coleman.
Aye.
Glenn McNish.
Aye.
Item number 8, hear a motion, we pay our bills.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion on the bills. Roll call.
Rick Chadwick.
Aye.
Matthew Coleman.
Aye.
Glenn McNish.
Aye.
Superintendent comments.
Yes, well, thank you, Board. Today, we don't have any voting items, so I'm taking this opportunity to share information with you and let you hear some up-to-date plans and some things that we've been working on. So, Mr. Hudson, if you will pull up some screens that I can simply use for talking points. I want to share with you that we have been participating in Lenoir City with a group called CERN, which involves 7 to 8 districts across the state of Tennessee, looking to try to figure out some of the best ways to address student learning during this pandemic. So on March the 31st, I was able to represent Lenoir City and participate on a panel that included, first of all, a professor from Brown University through the Annenberg Foundation, who has done a lot of research on how to best do just-in-time catch-up work with students. And one of the things that they have touted as a strategy is something called high-dose tutoring. And so in this, through the research, we decided that we would launch a pilot in Lenoir City Schools and see how this would go. And so one of the things, you know, when you're a leader, the first thing I have to do is identify a point person that I know will work through any challenges that come about and make it successful. And so that person, as we began to think through what our plan would be, was Miss Sherry Long. So I talked with Sherry and said, here's an opportunity. Let's see how we can identify the best way to utilize this strategy for our students. And so, if you will go to the next one. So after looking at what our students' needs were, we identified that we wanted to focus on a group of students that had previously missed half of a semester in geometry, because we knew that they were on their way to take the ACT for the first time, and we knew how critically important those skills were. These were students who, because of COVID last year, actually received credit for the class, but missed in-person instruction for about half of that semester. And so we just came up with that idea, and then Sherry took it and began to run with it. So I'm going to let Sherry talk with you a little bit about how that high-dose tutoring pilot worked, how she identified some staff and some training, and then we also have some results to share with you so that you can hear from teachers how it worked and from some students. And she has some wonderful stories along the way as well. So Sherry, I'm going to turn it over to you. If you just bring the board up to date on how that project worked, and then we'll talk about what some of our future ideas are.
Well, we pulled together, we had to have requirements that we had to meet with CERN, and so we had to have high quality teachers. Well, thank goodness all of our math teachers at the high school are high quality. So I had 4 of those teachers, 3 of those teachers worked with me, and myself was one of them. And we did it during the homeroom ASB time. We only had about 4 weeks, and because we were running an orange and black schedule, we didn't get to see them every day. The high dosage wants it every day for 50 minutes, but we at least were able to do every other day. And we also met the students' needs. So the first thing after I got the teachers on board is I had to go to Miss Lone at the high school, and we pulled the kids using state TBOS, predictability scores, and those kids in the geometry, and we picked the kids. We targeted about 30 kids, and I got 23 to participate. Sent out a Google form, we did some virtual, we did in-person, we did some after school, and the majority of our kids wanted in-person during the school day. They wanted face-to-face. So tutoring happened, we honed in on those skills in geometry, we built relationships really quick with the kids. On a personal note, it's very exciting for me to be back in the trenches with the children all the time, because that's where we all start to become teachers. We gave them a pre-test that emulated the ACT in-house, and we also gave them a post-test. It was a shortened version. All of our kids, 18 out of 19, improved on that test that were there for both the pre and post-test due to COVID and quarantine and everything else. And then on the predictability scores, the ACT data just came back, and the majority of our kids, the scores look great. We went after the 22 benchmark. Not all the kids hit the 22 benchmark, but we saw massive growth in kids. And I'm thinking if we would have had them every day without interruptions, without a hyper schedule, the impact we would have had in just those 4 weeks with kids was remarkable. 2 stories to share is one kid was having a little panic attack on the post benchmark in class, and when it was over, he just said to me, I'm stupid, I'm stupid, I can't do this, and we're like, stop. We calmed him down, because it's 1-on-2, 1-on-4, and we said, you know what, we're gonna open it later today. The other, Ms. Cranlin, the teacher, she said, can you stay later? Because he was a virtual kid that drove in to have face-to-face tutoring. And she stayed, gave up her planning, stayed with him, talked to him. I released it later to him to do in person. He came back, and he nailed it. And on ACT day, he found her at the high school and wanted to tell her that he did well on the ACT. He knew he was doing well, and his scores came back, and he improved drastically. We had a kid that only had a 40% chance to make a 20 on the ACT. He busted a 25 after high dosage tutoring. So we have little results. Some kids doubled their score. Some kids had like a 3% chance to even make a 17, and they pulled a 15. So, I mean, if we would have had those babies longer, I think we were headed in the right direction because it was targeted. I think one of the screens on there shares the kids' responses. The biggest ones that we got is, I didn't do the interviews, Zern did the interviews through TNTP, randomly picked some kids. Every kid, I mean, the quotes are up there, I can't see them back here, can somebody see them? But everybody said it was a 5 out of 5.
And the student reviews said it was definitely a 5 out of 5. My teacher was so sweet, and she made learning fun. Those personal relationships were also built during that tutoring time. Another student said, I would give it a 5 because the way she taught it to us, she was able to walk us through it, and it was a lot easier than being in class. She really made it interesting. And then the last one, 5 out of 5, because I liked the one-on-one conversations we could have. So we know that good teachers love to teach, and they love to see that spark in students, and that comes from conversation. And that's one of the things that was difficult this year due to so many of the quarantines. And then I love what our teachers have said as well, and I'll read that so everybody can hear that. Some of the teacher reflections. A teacher said, you can get to the heart of what a student needs. You can reach more and deeper and faster. Another teacher said, with tutoring, you get to see where your class might have missed those opportunities to learn whatever you're tutoring on. It's going to be helpful when I teach my class later. I'll know what individuals are struggling with. And then another teacher said, you're helping them gain confidence to understand the material. You're getting them to talk themselves through the material. Now, isn't that the goal? We always want to give students the ability to learn, and they can teach themselves forever. And so giving them that confidence that you heard Sherry describe in some of the students. So we were and have been recognized by SCORE for this initiative and some of the good results that we got. So the next step is to broaden this. One of the things I always like to tell our people when we start something new is to start small. Think big, but start small and work the challenges out. And Sherry can tell you, there are a lot of challenges. Challenges of scheduling, challenges of getting time, still challenges of COVID even. But it's worth the work. It's worth trying to figure out how to make it happen when you see these kinds of student results. So one of the things that we have planned in the spring, I'll let Sherry share with you now how we're going to grow this a bit.
So now we're moving it down into the middle school. So I met with Brandy, and we're gonna try to expand it to a little bit of ELA too in the middle school. So we're using the high school and JHS students, and we're gonna try to start a mentor program, because finding the time to get the teachers relieved from their duties in the middle school, the schedule's a little more challenging there. So we're gonna use the NGHS students at the high school. We've already gotten 12 kids signed up through Ms. King and Mr. Orr. And we've got 20 kids that we targeted at the middle school, working with the 8th grade math and ELA teacher. And we're gonna start that, and we would hope to do it 4 weeks, but high school testing now is in the middle of that, so it's gonna be 3 weeks. But we're gonna go the same thing where the high school mentors will come over, and what our hope is there, it will springboard them into freshman English and Algebra 1. In addition to, when they're in the high school as freshmen, they'll already know an upperclassman who more than likely would be peer tutors in the classes that they're in, and they'll already have a relationship built with those people. So we're trying to do it twofold and then grow from there. That hopes that the 8th graders will someday become mentors, how they receive mentorship. I guess my last comment I'll say about high dosage tutoring is that I watched the videos that Zern did in TNTP with the kids. And one of the comments when I was watching all the videos, the rough part, one of the kids kept saying over and over again, I felt like my voice was heard. I felt like I was heard. And I think going through this, the COVID and the crisis and the in and out, I think our kids have, not because we're not trying, I just think they need to be heard. And I think tutoring, high dosage, one-on-one help, not only math, but just that one, social emotional.
And so we know that one-on-one is good, but we did take it up to 1-on-4. We tried to just make it personalized in small groups. So as we move into the future, we are building some opportunities for high dosage tutoring and looking to some ways that we can even involve some of our community members who might be interested and have skills to actually help next year. So we're continuing to work. I'm thankful for groups like SCORE and CERN that connect researchers from all over the nation to us as educational leaders and give us ideas of how we can take good strategies and modify them for use in our own school districts. We can't always do it exactly the way the researchers think it should happen due to constraints of time and people and all of that. But there's some great information out there, and we certainly feel like this is a strategy that we can build into our operations at the school level. Board, do you have any questions for Sherry or for me or any of us? Okay. Well, you'll hear more about high dosage tutoring as we begin to look at some of our ESSER plans and those other kind of opportunities. Okay, next on the agenda, I would like to give you some updated information. We've been working extremely hard on our summer programming. And so one of the first things, we had a skeleton designed based on state criteria. And one of the things we wanted to do was set the mindset that this summer is not about remediating students. It's about accelerating students and helping them get that time for time that they might have missed due to quarantining or COVID or whatever. And so we're going to have opportunities this summer for students to come, elementary, middle, and high school, and get some face-to-face learning time. And so in doing that, we wanted to set up a positive environment, and so we're not calling it summer school, we're calling it Vacation Academy. And we have some exciting things that are going to be going on there. First exciting part was that, again, as I mentioned, in my role, it's I need to find a leader, someone who will wake up every day thinking about how can this be successful, and then put those actions into place, just like Sherry did with high dose tutoring. So we conducted some interviews and selected Ms. Rachel Browder to be our summer learning coordinator. So I'm going to let Rachel give you an update on what all she has done in the last couple of weeks since she has been named summer coordinator. Ms. Browder, would you stand and
We just stand.
yes.
Yay! It's exciting. You talk to students. They heard me discussing this as kind of a preview with other teachers. teachers, and it was, can I come to that? Can I do that? They are not ready, I think, to give up time with us, which is, I think, a kind of reflection of what you said. Currently, out of 160 identified students that we would like to attend, we have 91 that have said yes. We have additional parents that are calling and asking, hey, my child is talking about this, can I put him or her on the list? We are looking, we're gonna have breakfast and lunch serves. I've talked to the cafeteria as well, so we're working on that. We're looking at a Monday through Thursday program where we're gonna do some enrichment with the reading and math to give them just a little bump into accelerating into that 7th grade or the 8th grade, or that rising grade level. Kids are excited, they wanna be there. I'm excited from what I've talked to with Sherry and Shannon. Teachers are excited. We're just not ready to give them up yet, but we haven't had our normal 5-day a week with our kids, and we're kind of ready for that. And this is going to reflect that with this summer program. So yeah, so we're at 91, and I've got messages I can feel them, feel them on my watch. They're coming through, and so yeah, so we're excited.
Do y'all have any questions for Rachel about the summer program?
How many students is the goal, or were we shooting for?
The goal is 160. So
160 for grades 1 through 5,
yes.
and then another 108 for grades 6 through 8. So the goal is 260
Okay.
total. And then the high school, that's not in those numbers. So whatever the high school needs to have, we want to be able to provide services there too.
And then our 6 through 8 will attend for 4 weeks, and then our rising 1-5 will be there for 6. So we'll have 6 weeks.
And on Fridays, that is going to be an optional day for kids and families. We will have programming throughout on Fridays, and we want to focus it on Fun Fridays to do some of the kinds of things that we haven't been able to do this year. Maybe some field trips or some other activities, some STEM projects, maybe some music things, some art offerings. So we're really looking, we're looking first of all to identify which student's going to be there. And then we will do some needs assessment and some interest surveys to see, what would meet your needs and what are you interested in. Thank you. I will say that personal phone calls are being made to parents to give them the information and an invitation. And in those conversations, a lot of them will say, well, I have three kids, can they all come? I said, yes. I'm not going to turn you down. We do have funding from the state to help with this, and then we have built into our ESSER 1 plan some additional funds to make sure that this is supported well. We're still working on transportation, but we have our summer feeding program that will allow us to provide meals for students as well. Okay, anything else?
Nope, sounds wonderful.
We're excited. If you can't tell, we are very excited. And then lastly, I want to share with you news that the iLearn Institute has been approved through the Commissioner's Office.
Good.
It has been a long process, and I want to say thank you to Dr. Smallin and Mr. Hudson, who have worked diligently on that application. It's gone back and forth multiple times. You may have heard in the news that a lot of school districts are wanting to continue some kind of a remote option, and that is not going to be allowed in the way it has been allowed this year. The way the state board is looking at that is a lot of us provided online instruction because of the pandemic, and that was an emergency situation. What we are looking for to do in iLearn is something different, and that is a real, true, separate school with the same kind of support from a teacher and the same kind of support with opportunities that our current schools have. And so now with this approval, we can go forward now with that as a standalone school. So Lenoir City Schools will no longer have 3 schools, we will now have 4 schools. So we've talked about all of that in our planning process. Now it's a reality. So we got the go-ahead. And as such, you may have seen some of the information that's been going out. And just this morning, Dr. Smallin and Mr. Hudson shared with me a video that Christy Mallory from our high school has done. She and some students, she used a group of students to create a promotional video, and I'd like to share that with you all now.
Are you looking for an educational alternative to the traditional classroom? Are you looking for another way to prepare your child for the 21st century? At the iLearn Institute of Lenoir City Schools, we can help provide options to meet your educational needs. The iLearn Institute offers a high-quality virtual education for students in grades K to 12. Courses consist of credit recovery options all the way through honors and AP, and we are continually adding more courses to our ever-expanding course catalog. We provide services to any student living in Loudoun or surrounding counties. Students can work from the comfort of their home or anywhere where there is internet access. There are several options available, such as full or part-time, or enrichment opportunities. These can be tailored to meet your child's individual needs, creating a personalized learning approach. All the courses are standards-based to ensure a high-quality education. Lenoir City Schools is a public school district, which ensures all courses are taught by certified Tennessee teachers. Students have the ability to learn both through asynchronous learning, which is self-paced, and via synchronous learning, where you can have virtual meetings and classes with your teacher face-to-face in real time. Every new student will have a transition meeting where we take the time to go through your schedule personally and make sure you have the right learning plan. Then both the learning coach and student will learn how to use the learning management system so they transition smoothly into the virtual environment. Students in the iLearn Institute of Lenoir City Schools will have all the resources needed at their fingertips from top educational content providers facilitated by Lenoir City Schools. There are a variety of assessments and many engaging and interactive activities throughout the lessons. The iLearn Institute's rigorous curriculum and dedicated staff have transformed online learning in our district. While enrolled at the iLearn Institute, we encourage you to take advantage of the incredible opportunities we have. Join your favorite high school sports team. Come into school and participate in band, chorus, or other elective offerings. Go to your high school prom, participate in high school graduation, go on a class field trip, and communicate with your high school counselors to find out about scholarships available for college. With multiple programs available in the career and technical field, students can gain hands-on learning experience, preparing them for future opportunities. Many students choose the hybrid option and attend courses in school. Some students may just take one or two courses that may interest them in an elective field while staying in school full-time. Check out our website at ilearn.lenoircityschools.com and give us a call for more information. We would love to hear from you.
Dr. Smallin, do you want to share anything with the board? Do you want to share with their current interest level and
Sure.
enrollments?
So right now we have 67 people who have expressed interest in fall. We're going to advertise, some more throughout the summer. We're going to hold some question and answer sessions, both during the day and at night for different age groups, K through 8 probably at one point in time, and then 9 through 12 at different times for parents and students just to ask questions and find out a little bit more about what the vision is for the program. And, I think that I would say at this time last year, even though, COVID was well underway, we didn't have 67 kids, even though we were advertising a fall program. That usually, we have a large uptick during the summer months. People typically aren't thinking about next year during this school year. So we think we'll have a big increase in enrollment over the summer.
Have any questions for Chris? I will say this, there are some terms that we have to redefine. Remote learning, online learning, and hybrid. Those are 3 terms that we have used this year to mean one thing in an emergency situation. They're going to mean something different next year as we move into what a real online program offers and what it looks like. So that's going to be difficult for our teachers, for our parents, and some of our students to realize it's a different ball game. This is real school, and it is a commitment for a long term, and it is rigorous. So those, and it has support. You know, there will be social emotional supports along with this, just like there is in any school or any program. So I wanted to share that with you. And then the last thing I'd like to say is that this week is Assistant Principal Appreciation Week. So if you haven't done so already, let's say thank you to our assistant principals. They're out there right now keeping the schools going while our principals are here. So just, I want to publicly recognize them. So, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Mitch, you got anything? Anything? Matthew?
I'm good.
Your motion, we adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Roll call.
Rick Chadwick.
Aye.
Matthew Coleman.
Aye.
Glenn McNish.
Aye.
Mitch Ledbetter.
Aye.